today, we're playing the Reaper. And we may be playing an unexpectedly awesome, fantastic, super, honestly, fantastic, really great duo. Being the Snake and King Goobert. Holy Dragon Scale Armor. Shell Totems. This opponent is going to turbo stack their Empower. They're also going to scale up their crit chance, so this could be crazy damage. However, we do get that invulnerability, and honestly... But hey, check this run out, and let me know what you think of this build. Okie dokie, let's go and jump some rank games with the Reaper and see just what we can do today. Okay, that's a broom. We're rocking the original storage coffin, which is all about poison. Because I kind of want to play a bit of a poison build today. Now with that, we are going to be taking a broom. We're going to be taking a sweatstone. And we could have took the leather armor. That would have been awesome. I'm going to leave it for now. Now with our setup right now, I'm actually going to take the garlic. And we've got a pretty good food setup. With a little bit of damage on our whetstone and a broom. We're going to move on with this. We can inflict that blind. Deal the damage, stack up that poison with our whole setup. The fly garlic to poison. The banana and garlic to keep us alive. We'll just have to see that our opponent does have a crazy amount of damage with that Empower from drafting. So unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit too much for us. We're going to start off with taking the healing herbs, the leather bag. And we can craft up a shovel if we do want to. Which I'm going to grab. We're going to have our setup to be more like this, which is going to be kind of fantastic because the whetstone is going to be awesome in between the frying pan and the broom. And then it's also going to get all the food items around there. So we should be in a much, much better position right now. Even going up against this Reaper, who has a double weapon setup too. And a lot of food items. So we should be able to inflict that poison, inflict that blind, and turbo smash. I say turbo smash and it's actually pretty darn close. But not too bad all the same. Just pausing the video here very quickly, just to ask you to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. Now we could go Berserker Reaper. But I'm not going to. I'm going to take this whetstone. I'm going to grab this wooden sword and we're going to craft up a hero sword. Now we do want to roll once. And I'm going to grab this unidentified phenomenon and try to base our whole build around it. But for now, we are going to move on. Get a hero sword crafted. The shovel is going to be awesome to be inflicting that blind. And so we can stack up that poison. However, our opponent does have damage mitigation with the battle rage. But it shouldn't be too bad for us. Smashing even. And with that, we got ourselves a stone from the shovel, which is not too bad. We do kind of want to go for a Falcon Blade type setup. However, we're going to be taking this unidentified phenomena. What's going to be the Amulet of Wiles. We kind of want to go potentially for either pet build or spike stacking builds. So I'm going to grab the fly garlic. I'm going to sell a stone to actually take this leather bag. And we're going to add this in because that is going to be poison. That is going to be spike stacking first. So we're going to move on with this setup. Which shouldn't be too bad. Fly garlic to be increasing off the garlic. This garlic is going to go turbo nuts off all our food items. And honestly, we are getting turbo deleted from our points. They just had way too much damage for us. Now, since we have the Amulet of Wiles, I'm going to be selling our shovel. Because we may actually want to go Blood Turn with the Amulet of Wiles. So that's some blueberries, which we could take too, but I'm actually going to leave it. I do want to roll. I'm going to grab the deck of cards too, because then we can get some Lovers cards, which is going to provide some regen for us. So we're going to slot that in. That's going to be 2 regen, which is going to give us more Vampirism. That's going to be more Vampirism. That's going to be spikes. I'm going to sell the pocket stand to roll once. And we could also go for a Mana Thirst. I'm going to let it go for now. I do want to keep the Hunger Blade so we can get some Vampirism. That's going to keep us alive as we get our Amulet of Wiles online and as we stack up that poison. Because getting that Vampirism is going to be key for us to winning. So every time we hit, we heal back for 4. And especially if our opponent is stacking up that spikes too. So not too bad overall. However, that is an unstable recombobulator. We can recombobulate our whole board. Let's do it. Let's let the craziness unfold. However, I'm going to keep our Hunger Blade. I'm going to keep our Amulet of Wiles. We actually want to keep our deck of cards as well. Okay, so we're going to recombobulate basically everything except for Hunger Blade. And the Hunger Blade setup. I'm going to see what sort of craziness that can unfold. However, our opponent does have a Hero Longsword. They're going to have a lot of flat damage. And unfortunately, it's going to fall short for us here. We'll see right now what sort of things are we going to get. The Amulet of Energy. Okay, so we got ourselves a Cap Resilience, Cap Discomforts, which is going to be fantastic. Amulet of Energy, which is kind of awesome too. Does mean we can refund a lot of our regen. Also, we got ourselves a Little Frog, which we can trigger multiple times. So with that, we're going to start off by taking... We're going to take the item to be scaling per damage on our Hunger Blade, which should be fantastic. I do actually really want to grab this card too, because that's going to be more spikes. And it's also going to give us 1 guaranteed crit. I'm going to roll on once. We can get another Undead Phenomena. We can also get another Dark Crystal, which I'm down for too. Now, I'm actually going to settle to take this 20 back, because then we can increase the speed of our Hunger Blade even more. And with that, we're going to be moving on. So it's looking like we kind of want to go for either a snake type build or go for a Blood Turn. We're stacking up a crazy amount of buffs, which is going to be kind of fantastic. However, our opponent does resurrect with that Phoenix, but we still managed to pull ahead, which is awesome. So honestly, we didn't really get the nuts from the Recombobulator, but we did get pretty darn good items. So with our setup right now, I do kind of want to grab the snake. Since we had Amulet of Wilds as well, we'll be triggering our snake. Possibly again, it's also going to give us a ton of life, since we have a toad already. So I'm going to grab the snake. We'll slot it in here for now, and we can scale that up a little bit faster. We're going to take another one of these, and we're going to hope Amulet life is not too bad whatsoever. And we can also grab a White Eyes Dragon, which is going to inflict some frost too. I'm going to roll once, and that's all we can really do. We can go for King Goobert's, which might be a shout. We're going to preserve all these. A lot of items I do want to grab, but so far not looking too bad. We have our snake to be stacking up the poison. We have a ton of life. We're going to be getting some vampirism to keep us alive. The whole build shouldn't be too bad. We also got spikes to be dealing that extra damage as well. However, our opponent does have Blood Turn, and they are turbo stacking. And unfortunately, we're going to fall a little bit short. So with that, we are going to be taking good old Goobert for now. We do want to go Box for Riches to also try to go for King Goobert with our setup too. It does mean we do have to lose our White Eyes Dragon for now. I'm going to add this in too. I do want to grab the Box of Riches, but I'm going to roll once, looking for a bit of extra storage. We may actually want to grab the customer card. However, are we going to lose one of our pretty darn good items for it? Honestly, we're going to have to leave it. And with that, we should be in a much, much better position, because with Amulet of Life, we should get a Goobert healing from Goobert. It's not going to be crazy insane, but we do get an extra 55 life, which is definitely going to be worth it. However, our opponent is going to have crazy scale and damage. With the Deerwood Guardian, they're also going to have that damage mitigation. So this could be problematic. And it's super close, but we barely pulled ahead. This Goobert giving us that extra life. And honestly, should we sell our Hunger Blade and go for a Dark Saber type build? To be honest, I'm going to go for Dark Saber. Now, we do not want to craft up Light Gooberts. I do want to craft up Dark Saber. I would love to go for Light Goobert too, because that would be a lot of healing. And it would also be inflicting some blind as well. We're going to add back in our White Eyes Dragon. I do want to keep this Hunger Blade for now, just in case we come across a Mana Orb, and we can go for a Mana Thirst into Light Saber, which will be pretty darn good. Now, we do still want to keep the Box of Riches, and we're going to move on. Now, we're going to be using our regen to be inflicting blinds, which shouldn't be too bad. We do not have scaling regen, so our blind is only going to be for a certain amount of time. And especially when our opponent has inflicted a good bit of debuffs on us. But we just barely pulled ahead once again. But we should be in a much, much better position once we got our Dark Saber. However, that is a Death Sight, which is turbo insane, but we literally cannot afford to take it. I would love to take it, but our stamina wouldn't be able to handle it, and we're not really turbo stacking poison as much as I want to. Because all we really have is a snake. If this is Poison Goobert, I would be more inclined to take this. But for right now, let's take both these. Let's go ahead and roll. And we can get King Goobert online as well, which is going to be kind of crazy. Not going to lie, that should be absurd. So next round, we're going to have to wait around to actually craft it up. We may actually want to get another Box of Riches, because we have 0 gemstones to actually make use of it. But until then, we are going to have to roll on. And we should have a little bit of mana generation with our toads, and a big race to keep our Dark Saber to be inflicting up blinds. However, our opponents have a lot of luck, so they're going to have even more accuracy. But it shouldn't be too bad. It's smashing even. Now comes the problem, is we do have to craft this up. We can also put these in to deal our bonus buffs. We actually can't take this Box of Riches. I'm going to hold on to it. And I'm going to roll. Now we can take Goobert Tinger. It is going to be another pet. And we can also take a dragon to craft a White Eyes Dragon. However, we are 2 lives. If we take the dragon, we're taking a big risk to get it. However, getting a dragon would make us crazy strong. But I'm going to leave it out for now. I'm going to get a Wolpertinger because I'm going to be adding in our Hunger Blade once we get that Wolpertinger. But until then, we're going to move on. Now, Spiked Staff is going to be kind of scary because they're going to be stacking up a lot of damage pretty quickly. They're also going to have that Battle Rage, which is going to be problematic. It's going to be taking a lot less damage. And unfortunately, Berserkers are going to be big counter to us. We've got our King's Crown, which we do really want to craft this up. So for this round, we do have 17 golds. We're going to be crafting up King's Crown. We are going to be taking Gooberts. I do want to take the Box of Riches, but I'm going to have to leave it to roll to find some storage. That's also another Toad, which is going to increase our max HP potentially. And we do also want to grab this for now. We're going to rock with this setup for now. So our King Goobert will be crafting up, which should be fantastic. However, if we do make it past this round, we should be a lot stronger, because we're going to get a ton of healing from King Gooberts, allowing us to stack up that poison, allow us to stack up these debuffs. We're going to move on. We still have our Isle Lamp targeting our Dark Saber, and we added in our Flawed Amethyst into our King's Crown, so we do reduce our opponent's healing here even more. However, our Eternal Locklifter is going to be still a crazy amount of healing efficiency, so it's going to be kind of close. To be honest, just stacking up that damage with the Gooberts, and it's going to be way too close for us, and holy moly, we managed to pull ahead. Okay, King Goobert is going to be fantastic. However, we're going to have to change our whole setup around. And we could also go for Bloodthorn, but do not exactly want to. I'm going to roll. That is a big shiny ball, which I do want to grab. That's going to give us a ton of mana. It's also going to inflict those debuffs from the very beginning. Okay, with that, we now have our setup to be more like this. Now, King Goobert is going to provide a crazy amount of healing as we inflict those debuffs. And we did move our setup so our Snake is not actually targeting King Goobert, but it will give us a ton of max HP from our Toads and a Wolpertinger. And now we can actually add in our Dragon down here if we do want to, but it's still going to be a big risk. Now with that, I'm going to actually save our gold so we can get our Prismatic Orb in the next round. But until then, we're going to move on. Now we may also want to upgrade from the Hunger Blade into Fancy Fencing Rapier, because then we can use up our luck to be scaling up our damage all along with our Dark Saber. That's going to be inflicting those crazy debuffs. And so far we get that invulnerability. And we just have a ton of value overall, which is kind of crazy. And we just ask for it and it shows up. Well, we're definitely going to grab it. Now, should we actually get rid of our Hunger Blade? We do lose out on a lot of vampirism, but that should be totally fine. But yeah, I'm going to sell this stuff, because then we can get our shiny ball, and we do kind of want to add in this position, so we might actually have to place it over here for now. But actually we can we change the setup around just even a little bit more, so we can actually have our ticket cards down here, while also having a Prismatic Orb stacking up one Dark item. Now we could also have it over beside our Dark Saber, but I'm going to leave it here for now. That should give us mana so we can start inflicting those debuffs immediately with a Dark Saber. We'll have to see. Our opponent does have a Ruby Chunk. They do have Nocturnal Locklifter. They are going to have a crazy amount of healing, which shouldn't be too bad. We do get some invulnerability with our King Goobert as well, and we do reduce their healing. And we are stacking with that poison. We are inflicting that blind, but they're running magic weapons, which blind's not going to matter, and awesome. Now we did manage to survive one life left here, but let's have a quick DPS check before we do move on. So we have about 38 DPS, which is not too bad. Let's check our heals. Honestly, not crazy, but not too bad either. And then finally, no block. But let's go ahead and see, can we get the full 9 points? Not turbo insane, but we can try to do some more crazy stuff. So we can do crazy stuff, we can get some eye lamp for even more scaling damage. It's not that crazy, to be honest, but I'm going to grab it for now. I do also want to grab this leather bag. And I do want to slot this over in this position, because then we can take another White Eyes Dragon, which is going to give us more block, and it's going to give us more frost. Now I do want to roll. Is there anything else we do kind of want to grab? We could take the Bloody Amulet for some vampirism. I actually do not really want to grab it. We could also go for now Gooberts, but I'm going to just continue on. Now wait, Holy Dragon Scale Armor, Shell Totems. This opponent is going to turbo stack their Empower. They're also going to scale up their crit chance, so this could be crazy damage. However, we do get that invulnerability, and honestly, our build right now is just super well-rounded. Now, I would love to go for another Cap Discomfort, because that would basically just finish off opponent's healing that they can't heal. However, it is the final round to craft, So we'd have to take this, roll once, and literally find the corrupted crystal. I'm not going to take it. I am, however, going to roll once, take the penny back first. And we didn't actually get it, which is not too bad. However, we can take another glowing crown, which could be fantastic. I'm also going to prioritize increasing the speed of our fancy fencing rapier. For now, I do actually want to grab this pretty badly though. So much so, I'm going to sell our healing herbs in favor of actually taking it. Because that is going to give us even more vulnerability. It's also going to give us more healing. And it's also going to cleanse blinds. Blinds not going to matter because we're going to get so much luck from our snake anyway. It's also going to be super fast trigger speed for our King Goobert because the toads are not honestly that fast. I'd much rather have our snake there, but we do want our max HP from our snake. We're going to move on. We could take the dragon for that extra max HP, but we're not going to take it. Much before getting another toad or some other things. Now this is kind of scary because that is a lot of cold on us. That's going to be a lot of damage on, unfortunately. Big counter to us, unfortunately. Yeah, because if we're not hitting, we're not scaling damage, we're also not inflicting it. That snake went down to 5-second cooldown. One particular went to 8. Let's just move on. That fight was over before it even began. Now what should we take for the final rounds? I do kind of want to take a little bit more storage so we can actually take the hollow fire lizard. We could also take the bird. The bird would have been a pet too. Okay, I know we wasted a bit of gold on the hollow fire lizard. I'm actually going to sell it to take the bird because this is going to be crazy insane for a setup right now. Because it's going to increase the speed of our weapons, which is exactly what we need. Now the problem is our prismatic orb is going to be in a much worse position from now on. It unfortunately is going to have to be in this position. Our deck of cards is going to be struggling just a little bit too. We can have it in this position for now. But yeah, our setup is looking kind of awesome right now with our snake. It's going to be fantastic because now we have max value on our snakes. So we should have infinite. We should have a crazy amount of luck for our fancy fencing rapier. We do have that scaling damage on both our weapons and accuracy. Accuracy is not going to matter too much altogether. We do have a prismatic orb giving us a little bit of healing efficiency, inflicting a debuff and giving us 4 mana. So our Dark Saber can proc pretty easily. Our bird is also going to be in a fantastic location to be targeting our weapons specifically. Our prismatic orb and our glowing crown. And we could also have a target our snake, but this is going to be a much better setup. We could also move it here to be targeting this stuff, but I do want to increase the speed of our weapons. And we do have one more gold, so let's roll. That's a shiny ball, which I would love to take, but unfortunately, we just do not have the gold. We'd have to sell way too much to actually get it online. But we're going to see, is this actually going to be enough to actually win out? We could also take a Maneki Neku. That would increase the speed of our fancy fencing rapier, our Dark Saber, our glowing crown, and our snake. And our Wolpertinger even. And even our prismatic orb. That would be honestly fantastic to take. But we're going to move on. Are we going to be able to win? Can Snake, King Goobert's actually win out? Now this could be problematic because that is going to be a lot of stack and poison, a ton of armor that we do have to break through. We're going to be taking increased damage from that poison. So we'll have to see. Also our stamina is actually a huge problem even though we do have Wolpertinger because of this Shield of Valor. And so far we managed to break through the armor, but that poison is still stacking up. We do get that invulnerability once again. And it's just over. Awesome. Our build was super well rounded. The big counter was the Frost. But our DPS towards the end actually wasn't really that turbo insane. Our opponent's DPS actually just fell a bit short, but to be honest, we had so much invulnerability. Our defensive layer was so strong with 4 invulnerabilities, so much max HP, and a good bit of healing. Actually, the healing here was only 27, which could have been way better, to be quite honest. Which still wasn't too bad overall. But anyways, we did survive with only 1 life left, which is kind of crazy. Let's go ahead and see how much rank points. Did we get the full 9? Just +8, which is not too bad. Rank us up. Rank us up only small bit. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here for now. I just want to say thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to keep a lookout for the next one. See you next time.